Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. It has been a little while since I uploaded a video. I ended up taking most of April off. Well, it's the 28th of April, and I think I last uploaded on the 24th of March, so yeah, kind of a month and a bit off. Life just got crazy again. I feel like this is the recurring theme of 2024 so far, is I had all these best laid plans for how I wanted things to go, mostly just like I wanted them to be relaxed and non-eventful, and yet life has a habit of lifing. Nothing too big's happened, to be fair, but things have just been busier than I expected, and I've struggled a bit more with my health than I expected, so here we are, a whole month between videos, but I am back. I am happy to be back. I'm so excited to finally be chatting nonsense about journaling again. And today I'm going to do just like a little journal with me, I guess. I think I'd mentioned in my last video that I'd hoped that I could come back with a flip through of this book, which is the first time it's on the channel. This is like a little Hobonichi A5 memo book that I've been using to kind of bridge the gap between when I stopped using my Hobonichi Cousin and when my Freely Noted by Planner Monkey Co. arrived, because there were some delays to that. Nothing to do with Planner Monkey Co. Like, Sydney shipped it like literally within 48 hours of me buying the book. It was incredible. However, the postal service, yeah, we don't even want to talk about that. It was not good. It took weeks, but it is finally here and in the nick of time, because I am close to finishing this book now. I think I've got about like 10 pages left or something. So hopefully the next video after this will in fact be the promised like flip through of the completed book, because I am very close now. Also just want to shout out that this archive sticker is by Petite Gloom. I got it as a freebie on her Patreon. I don't know whether it's also sold in the shop, but yeah, it's beautiful. I plan to put one of these like on all of my books going forward, either on the cover or for ones that have like a leather cover, I'll probably put it like on the inside somewhere. But anyway, yeah, I'm in this book now. I've really enjoyed using it actually, and it's validated that switching to a non-structured journal was 100% the right decision for me. Like, I'm having so much fun now that I'm just like in grid pages. I can kind of do what I want. And I'm really excited to just kind of like continue my journaling style like this. But today, what I'm gonna do is do a little weekly recap spread, because I did not really journal last week at all. Apart from this extremely long, I don't know if you'd call it an essay or like a ramble or just a lot of words about the Tortured Poets Department. It's going to feature again in the weekly recap, but I will just say from the start, I'm in love with this album. If you are too, let me know your favourite songs in the comments, because I just want to talk about it all the time. Anyway, weekly recap. I'm going to do that. I'm going to kind of take you through how I do it and talk about my week in the process. When I do a weekly recap, it's usually because I haven't had time to journal in the last week, or not much happened for me to like daily journal about on most of the days, so I kind of do it all in one go. I don't do this from memory. What I tend to do is just like keep a running list throughout the week on my notes app on my phone of like stuff I want to write about when I finally get to write. So I'm actually gonna get that open now on my computer, because I've already forgotten what happened this week and I need the notes. Here we go. All right. So the first thing I do most of the time when I'm journaling about anything is write a title. I love a title. Just helps me if I'm like flicking through the book to figure out what everything is. And I always do it in this wonderful brush pen. It's from Tombow. It is the Fudenosuke, I believe it's pronounced, brush pen. And I have had this pen and two others like it literally for about 7 years now, and they haven't run out. Magic, I know. I'm still using all of them. I kind of jump between them, which is a bit chaotic, I know, but so am I. So what are you gonna do? Yeah, title. So I think I'll just do a simple one and just write week of 20th of April, because that's the week it is. Is it? No, 22nd of April. What was the date on Monday? It's the 29th tomorrow, so it was the 22nd. Okay. Why did I write 20th in my notes app? I was setting myself up to fail. Okay, anyway, week of the 22nd. That's what this is. Let me just hand letter that in my amateur still hand lettering. I've never been able to get the grip of like proper calligraphy, but I don't care. I enjoy it. I don't really mind if it looks a bit janky. All right, that's decent. That'll do. Also, side note, for anyone using the Hobonichi Cousin or any of the books with new like Tombow River paper this year, the thing that to me suggested that the new paper isn't as good as the old paper is that these brush pens bled through the pages in some of my like cousin spreads, which has never happened before. Like they've barely even ghosted before, and yet suddenly they were actually bleeding through, which doesn't seem good to me. Yeah, it's a shame because loads of people use these pens and loads of people presumably are now having issues with ghosting and bleeding, which I don't think I'm having in this book. No, see, that's completely fine. That's what it was like in my 2023 cousin avec, like it was fine. But in the 2024 cousin, bled through, not great. Anyway, now that that's done, another thing I like to do with my headings is always just a pop of colour. I mean, I use colour very loosely here because it's going to be grey. Not feeling very colourful today. And this previous spread, I'd gone with like a monochrome thing, so I'm going to continue that and just do like a nice little line to like fill the rest of the heading space. Oh my god, actually like focusing on doing this and knowing that I'm filming it has made me realise how much my hands shake like all the time. What? Anyway, that's that done. Nice and simple. Next up, I'm going to do a little subheading situation. What I normally do in these is like a subheading for every day. This time around, I'm not going to do that because Monday to Friday were just like so dull that there's not enough to write about each day. So I'm going to do like Monday to Friday in one block and then the weekend in another block. All right, time to actually write about Monday to Friday. What do I want to mention first? I think I'll mention how work has been going, like vaguely. I don't like to write details about my work in here because like I don't want to broadcast that on the internet, but I can write about some just like broad strokes. One thing that kind of contributed to me not being around as much in April on here and just like mentally, spiritually, just like not here, was work. And it's not my work's fault. I just like completely lost all concept of work-life balance because I got kind of like hyperfixated on work, which is good in a sense because it means I actually like want to work, but it's bad when I take it too far and don't take breaks and like work too late. And I ended up having like this huge mental health crash that I think was literally just because I'd been overworking myself. So yeah, had to have a bit of a step back and think what's an actually healthy routine for me. And this week I think I made steps in achieving that. My big thing was working late into the evening because I was just like having too much fun and didn't want to stop. But I kind of forced myself to stop at like 6-ish every day last week, apart from one where I did kind of slip back into my workaholic habits. But, you know, 4 out of 5 days is pretty good for me. So yeah, I'm going to write about that. And also the fact that my manager was off and in her stead, I facilitated 2 meetings and both the meetings went really well, which I'm proud of myself for. So I wanted to commemorate that in here. All right, it's time for my next mini section here. And I think I'm going to talk a bit about struggling to get up in the mornings because that has been an issue this past week and I'm not really sure why fully. I know some of it is because I've just been having worse sleep, like I've been getting to bed late and stuff, and that's on me. But even on days when I don't get to bed late, I just don't want to get out of bed. I just want to stay in that cozy duvet forever. And maybe it's because it's been really cold for April here. And rainy, but you'd like expect that in April in the north of England, but it's been like notably cold this year so far. And it's really hard to want to get up when it's cold and when you could stay in warm bed forever. So yeah, that's been a bit of a struggle, which I'm hoping to get more of a handle on this coming week. Just set like 5 billion alarms, I guess. And also I think a big part of it is I'm scrolling on my phone for like an hour instead of actually getting up. So maybe I should leave my phone in a different room. Maybe I need to do that. And maybe do a bit of like convincing of myself in my journal that I do need to get up on time more often. Because yeah, I just hate losing so much of my day. Like I'm lucky in that I work flexibly. So if I get up late, like I'm not going to get told off if I start work late. Like as long as I work a certain number of hours in the day, I'm fine. Doesn't matter when those hours are. So there's not much incentive for me to get up, but I just feel so much better in myself when I get up and just have more time to do things, you know? Perpetual struggle of mine. Probably related to some executive dysfunction things going on, but I am determined to get a handle on it. And writing about it and processing it that way is the first step to that. Next up, I'm going to write about the media I have been consuming this week. Now, obviously, main thing to talk about there is the Tortured Poets department. I've printed out this little picture from the photo shoot to stick in this bit as a nice bit of decor. And then I probably will also write a bit about some of the stuff I've been watching, which is catching up on a ton of journal YouTube, because I was away for a weekend back there, and it seems like everybody that I watch posted that weekend, or that week, when I was also busy beforehand, and I had a very big backlog of videos to watch, and that was a fun time. I love watching everyone's videos. Yeah, other than that, I haven't really been consuming much media. Like, I've not been reading because I gave up on a quart of Wings and Ruin. Like, I just couldn't cope anymore. Like, not enough was happening. I got 50% in and barely anything had happened. And I was like, am I really going to give more hours of my life to this when I'm not enjoying it? Like, I love the characters, but that book is so bloated. I just couldn't bring myself to do it anymore. I'm sorry, all right? Anyone who's a fan out there of that series, like, I just don't know if it's for me, all right? I just don't know. As much as I love Reese. Anyway, I basically skimmed the rest of it and then haven't actually started reading my new book yet. I'm going to read Strong Female Character by Fern Brady, which is her, like, memoir, talking a lot about being autistic, being diagnosed with autism. So obviously I'm interested in that, and I've heard very good things about the book in general, so I'll hopefully start reading that this week. But for now, let's write about the actual media I have been consuming. I'm going to write about my favourite songs so far of the album. There are 31 songs, right? It's a lot of songs. I would say I actively adore like 26 of them. The other 5 I'll listen to, but like they're not my favourites, whereas 25 of them I'm like, this is the best thing ever, inject this into my veins. So yeah, I'm just going to write my top 5, which I think if I have a look at my Stats FM, it will tell me which ones I've played the most. So I'm going to preface this by saying I'm fine. Honestly, I'm fine. I just really like sad songs, all right? Like, I'm not going through a breakup. I'm very happy in my relationship, but I just really like songs about misery and miserable relationships. That being said, my top 5 right now apparently are, at number 5, we have Fresh Out the Slammer. Then we have The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. The bridge takes me out every time. I just want to scream it in a stadium. Maybe I'll get the chance to at the Eras tour. Then we have The Tortured Poets department, the title track. And then we have LOML. This is where I'm getting to the I'm not sad, I promise bit. Because the top 2 are LOML, or Lommel, as I keep calling it. I don't know why. And So Long London. The 2 arguably most heart-wrenching songs on the album. Although The Prophecy's also quite sad, to be fair. Like, the idea that she thinks she's cursed to never find love, like, that's quite sad. But yeah, So Long London, I just love it. Also want to give a special shout out to I Look in People's Windows. I'm not sure how that's not in my top 5 because it feels like I've had it on loop, and I'm really mad that it's so short because I love it. So yeah, those are my top, I guess, 6, because I mentioned I Look in People's Windows, songs on the album so far. I feel like it's going to change though, because every morning it feels like I wake up with a different song in my head. Like today it was Down Bad, and then it also changed to My Boy Breaks All His Favourite Toys. So yeah, having a blast with this album. All right, a last little note I want to leave about Monday to Friday is that I was struggling a fair bit with noise sensitivity. I'd say probably the main way in which like my autistic traits like affect me is the sensory side of things. Like, I do struggle with other elements, like, you know, the social side of things, but I particularly struggle with sensory issues, and noise is like the main one for me. I get so aggravated by just like everyday noises and find it extremely difficult to cope. I don't really go out very often because of the noise of the outside world, and even being in the house sometimes, just like living with another person, can be challenging because, you know, people make noise. That's fine, that's allowed, but obviously I find it a bit challenging, and especially have this week. I think part of the problem is I have like noise cancelling headphones and some like earplugs and stuff, but you're not supposed to use them for more than a few hours a day, or they say that the sensitivity will actually get worse. So I'm like having to choose when I think is going to be noisiest, and it's not always easy to predict. And like, yeah, I don't know whether the fact I've just been like more tired and busy and stressed lately has contributed, but just want to leave a bit of a note about it in here. And I'm going to do some more research into ways to cope with noise sensitivity. And if you have any tips, if you're watching this, please leave them in the comments, because yeah, I would very much like to not struggle with this quite so much. All right, this is very satisfying. Get to have a whole new page for the weekend. It has been a good weekend, I think. Yesterday I went to a friend's house and we had a good old catch up. It had been a little while since I'd seen them and we had plenty to talk about. So we did that and ate a courgette cake with lemon. It was so good. I'm still thinking about it now. I need to get the recipe. Anyway, had a great time. And then today has just been a very chill day, to be honest. I've been catching up on chores around the house and also got very excited earlier because a sparrowhawk was in my garden. And I'm a massive bird watching nerd. Like, I love birds. And this was the first time we'd ever had a sparrowhawk in our garden. So I got very excited and printed out a picture of a sparrowhawk to stick in here. Because yeah, it always feels exciting when we get new birds, you know? And I think more and more different species of birds are like starting to populate our area because it's a relatively new estate. I think it's about 10 years old now, but in like bird colonization terms, that's not very long at all. It takes some birds like quite a while to like, yeah, colonize new areas, I guess. But this year I've started noticing lots more different types of birds and I'm like, is it finally happening? Like, am I gonna get to see tons of cool birds? I really hope so, because I love birds. All right, I think this weekly recap is done. I've mentioned everything I wanted to. We've gone over a few pages, which is nice. Always good to see the book filling up, you know? And I'm so close, as I say, to finishing this one now. I did write some like private notes in the end, which is why you probably saw some words there. But yeah, not too many pages and then it'll be on to the freely noted. I think the final thing I will do here is separate the entry off with some washi tape, ready for the next time I want to write. And I think I'm going to use, what colour? Maybe something grey. Ooh, things are falling out of my bag. Let's go with this from Salam Creative. It has like books and journals and pens and mugs and just all the things I love. Oh, and little leaves as well. So we're going to put that here just to split things off, ready for next time. Have I got a hair stuck in there? I think there's some cat fur. Great, cool. Occupational hazard of cat ownership, unfortunately. I always tend to cut washi tape with this extremely grimy old ruler. Good Lord, I need to clean that. I think I've had this since school, to be fair. All right, yeah, that's looking nice. I'm happy with that. All right, well, thank you for sticking with me if you've made it to the end of this video. This is kind of a new video format for me, so let me know in the comments if you liked it, if you want more of it, if you want less of it. And I will see you next weekend, hopefully with the flip through of this book. I really do think I can finish it this week because I've got a few different topics I want to write about. Hope you're all doing well, and I will see you next time.